Hi everyone. Thanks for being here. Happy Friday to you. I'm really excited to be hosting this training today, which is specific to group practice owners. A lot of what we talk about in this group is extremely applicable to group practices, but often it can, a lot of the examples we use are for solo. I wanted to carve out just a dedicated space for the group practice owner and to really support you in figuring out how to niche and how to market yourself in a cohesive and a compelling way. So that's what we're going to be doing here. I'm really happy that you are joining us. Hopefully, I'm, as usual, coming through okay. We are going to do just a quick double check here. If you are able to see me, if you wouldn't mind giving me just a thumbs up. Okay, I see a comment, so that's a good sign. Okay, Brent said hey. Brent, hi. Thanks for saying hello. Hopefully that's a good sign that you can hear me. Okay, wonderful. Thank you. I welcome your feedback, your questions as we go through this. As you're settling in and people are joining, please let me know where you're joining from. If you're watching, you are likely a group practice owner already, or maybe you're considering it. So let me know kind of what stage you're at. But I will take some time at the end of this training to answer any questions that you may have. So please don't hesitate to drop those in if there's something that you're wondering about when it comes to this. Awesome. Glad to know I'm coming through okay. Thank you, Brent. Mina, if I'm saying your name correctly, joining from New York. Welcome. Thanks for being here. So yeah, say hello. If this is your first time joining me, hi. You've joined at a perfect time if you're interested in this whole group practice thing. I am Anna, and I get to run this group, which is my greatest privilege, one of my greatest privileges. We are about, inside of this group, two main things. One, helping you market yourself in a way that's effective. I want to see you get results. I want to see you attract clients into your practice that fills your caseload and the caseloads of your team members. But it's also really important, and the second part of what we do here is that it's authentic to you. We are anti-salesy, anti-slimy, anti-some things that don't feel good or aren't right for us inside of this group. So it's about helping you put yourself out there in a way you can feel really proud of, because when you do that, your clients can tell, and it's something that will really resonate with them in your marketing. So really happy you're here. Hi, Carrie, joining from New Jersey. Thank you for being here. So if you're here, if you're interested in this whole group practice thing, then I'm curious if this is familiar to you. You filled your caseload one way or another, and it wasn't easy, but you did it. You filled your caseload, and then you started to wonder, I wonder if I could bring on some team members. Maybe that was so that you could reduce some of your one-on-one time. Maybe it was the revenue potential of having additional, members, working with you. Maybe it was increasing your impact and just being able to serve your community in a greater way. Whatever it was, you brought on team members, or you're considering it, and holy cow, the marketing game changes, doesn't it? Because no longer are you just known for the thing that you do, but all of a sudden you have this team that you feel a sense of responsibility for, and that you need to be putting out marketing for. So this idea of niche starts to really transform. Now, we talk about niching all the time in this group. It's my favorite topic. It's why we're doing this training. It's why you see me talk about it so much in this group, because it's so critical to your marketing. It's especially critical if your goal is to attract private pay clients. Your niche is your North Star as a practice, and that doesn't change when you become a group, but the process of niching does. So yes, your niche matters when you're a solo practitioner, and you probably filled your caseload because you became known for something. And you did an awesome job at it, and you still do. But all of a sudden, that niche doesn't just directly apply to the team and to this group. Now, I am going to argue that your niche actually matters even more when you're a group. Now, why? One, without a clear niche as a group, without a clear, cohesive message that communicates the work that you do, you risk being seen as kind of that jack of all trades and master of none. That's not to say you are, please hear me. You do wonderful work and you have really skilled clinicians, but if your marketing says that, people might interpret it that way. And so we have to find something that carves out a space for you so that your clients land there, your potential clients land there, and feel like they're in the right place. If we don't have a niche, that's really hard to do. The other critical thing, and this is especially true if you yourself became known for something and have a full caseload but are struggling to fill the caseloads of team members under you, is that when you have a clear niche as a group, you attract clients who want to work with your team, not just you. So you may specialize in children and teens. You may be known for that. I just worked with a clinician who was known as the Mary Poppins in her area in working with children and teens. But if the rest of your team doesn't specialize in that, you've got a problem, right? And you might struggle to pass along referrals. People are going to come and want you. We want people to see your marketing, to see your website, to see the way that you talk about yourself and want to work with your team. That's the power of your niche as a group practice. The last thing that is absolutely worth thinking about and reminding ourselves of is that when you have a clear niche, you start attracting team members, assuming that you would like to grow. You attract team members that align with the work that you do, right? This becomes something that you can rally around, something that we do together and we offer our clients. Otherwise, you can kind of just end up being a bunch of individuals, and individual practitioners who happen to share a name or happen to work under, the same umbrella. And so it creates there's a sense of community, right? And something that you guys can rally around and agree upon and focus yourselves around. Now, how do you do this, right? That is the purpose of this training, and I'm going to be walking you through a bit. But really what this comes down to is crafting a message, something, a statement that does two things for your practice. One, it aligns with what your ideal clients are looking for. It aligns with something your ideal client values in the therapy process, something that they're looking for, something that they're struggling with. So we have to do that. And the other thing it has to do in order to be true and effective is it has to honor your team members' individual specialties and experience and training and allow them to fully practice and embody those things. Now, crafting a message that does both of those things is easier said than done, which is why hopefully you're here today. But that's the goal of what we want to be doing here. Let me know if that resonates with you. I just want to stop and pause. Any questions on that or anything you might struggle with around this? I would love to just support you if there's anything specific you're thinking about. Otherwise, we'll get into how you can start thinking about this. All right. Well, hopefully that means it's making sense then. Wonderful. All right. Well, if you have questions, don't hesitate to drop those in and I will return to them. So there are 4 types of therapy niches, and you may have seen my training on this before, and this is the same. This is applicable to group practices as well. What we're going to do is start applying these to group practices specifically. So the 4 types of therapy niches are: 1, a type of person. A type of person. Maybe that's women, maybe that's people of a certain age, maybe that's people that identify a certain way. It can be a lot of different things, but a type of person, right? Something demographic. The other thing, the second therapy niche is a type of problem. Anxiety and OCD, grief and loss, all kinds of things, right? Trauma informed, whatever that is, but a type of problem, something that's bringing this client in to therapy. That can be a niche. And that's kind of the traditional niche, right? So you might specialize in trauma, but your team, they work with couples. Well, specializing in a certain type of problem might be a little bit more difficult. Not to say that we couldn't use that one, but that's sort of the traditional niche that we think about. So there's person, problem. The next one is outcome. The next one is, what is this person hoping to accomplish in therapy? So maybe when you look at the work that you and your team members do, everyone's really trying to get to a certain place. Maybe they're all really trying to understand themselves better. They're all really trying to improve their relationships. They're all really looking for long-term change, something like that. So an outcome can be a niche. And the last one, and this is one that I often see be a good fit for group practices, is the approach that you offer, the environment that you create. So that might be holistic counseling. Maybe you have a team of really multifaceted clinicians who are going to look at mind, body, spirit. Awesome. Then a holistic approach could be a really great niche and message for you. Maybe you are all trained in trauma-informed practices, and so you want to become known for that. Maybe you're extremely, extremely open and affirming to people of all genders and identities and things like that. That can be a niche. So those are the 4 types of therapy niches. I'll go over them again. A type of person, a type of problem, a type of outcome, or a type of approach or environment you create. I'm curious if any of those are resonating with you, because they can all work, and I've seen them all work. I'm going to give you some examples here in a little bit of group practices that I've seen embody these, but these are the different ways that you can think about your niche and can think about this core message that you're all going to rally around. Let's stop here. Mina said all this resonates. Figuring out who the ideal client is and crafting the message is the hard part. Absolutely. So the first place to start there, and I'm going to walk you now through some prompts to think on to really excavate which one of these is the right fit for you. The first one is when I look at, and you might have to bring your team in for this. If you have that type of relationship and they're experienced enough to have this insight, bring your folks in on this process. It'll be really empowering and I bet really enlightening for all of you. But when you look at the best fit clients, the clients that you get excited to see on your schedule, all of your team members, when you bring those all together, what do they have in common? What do they have in common? Is it a level of motivation and insight and self-awareness? Is it the need and the desire might not even be a strong enough word, but like the need to be fully seen and understood and accepted just as they are? Are they all incredibly open-minded and interested in kind of non-traditional therapy methods? What is the common theme, or what are some of the common denominators when you bring all of your favorite clients together in a room, right, in our minds? So that is a really powerful exercise. The next prompt I want you to think on, this is one I ask all of my group practices owners that I work with one-on-one. What do you want to be a destination for? Now, I use the word destination very here. What do you want to be the perfect place, like the oasis, the like safe resting place for? What type of person? What type of problem? What do you want to be a destination for? Here's another way to think about that. Someone's referring to your practice. So maybe it's another professional, it's an OBGYN. Maybe it's another clinician. Maybe it's a past client. And they're talking to someone who's a great fit for your practice, and they say, oh yeah, you should go see the team at Anna's therapy practice because they, what? Because they are, incredible, like they're trauma informed and they'll help you understand, the impacts of your past on your present, because they specialize in working with women and they understand the challenges of modern motherhood, right? How would you finish that statement? Go see the team at your practice name because they what? I'm curious what's coming up for you. So those 3 prompts to think around again. What are the themes or the common denominators between all of our favorite clients across your specialties, right? What's the theme there? Either that they're looking to accomplish, that they're struggling with right now, what's similar about the people themselves. Next, what do you want to be a destination for? What do you want to be seen as the place for in your community? And finally, if someone was referring to your practice, what do you hope they say? Oh yeah, go see the team at your practice name because they, what? That will start to shine a light on what your niche is and what you want to be known for. Now, I want to come back to something that a lot of clinicians, whether they are solo or group, struggle with, and that's, well, doesn't everyone else do this? Isn't everyone technically, open-minded? Couldn't everyone technically work with women? Whatever that is. The answer is maybe, probably, right? You guys are trained to do a variety of types of work and work with a variety of people. Just because someone else can do this work doesn't mean they're saying it. And so you're allowed to talk about the fact that, here's a good example. I have seen someone fill their entire, as a past one-on-one client of mine, she filled her entire private pay practice under the theme of therapy for long-term change. What therapist isn't hoping you experience long-term change, right? It's something you're all hoping for, but she said it in her marketing. And that became the core message that she wanted to be known for, and holy cow, did it work. So this doesn't have to be novel. Other people might do this too, but if you can do it, if you can say it clearly, if you can market yourself in a compelling way using this message, then you can still stand out with it. You don't have to be a unicorn. Just like your ideal client is a unicorn, there are more of those out there. Your niche doesn't have to be either. We actually want other people to do these types of work, but we want you to be the clearest and the most compelling with it. So let me just offer a little bit of encouragement around that. If you're like, well, yeah, but a lot of other practices do this. Yeah, but are they saying that? Are they leading with that? Is that the center of their marketing? If not, then you can capitalize on it. So I hope that's helpful for you. Before we get into question and answer, so definitely be thinking on if you have any questions as you're brainstorming this. Let me give you some examples of group practices that I myself have worked with and that I've seen be successful. One of them, one of my very first group practice clients many years ago, they specialized in grief, loss, and medical diagnoses. So it wasn't just one problem, but they all kind of had this like common theme, right? Grief, loss, and medical diagnoses, and they are the place for it. And they rank on page 1 of Google in their city for those things. Grief, loss, and medical diagnoses. Do they do other types of work? Absolutely. And they've actually been able to sort of grow in that. They talk about things like life transitions, right? Grief and loss can be so broad. But when they became known as this like core team focused around that, now she has this incredible team, I think of like 11 clinicians, all centered around this and doing different flavors of work supporting those areas. So that's one. I've supported multiple group practices that specialize in women, working with women, and that demographic, whether that is professional women, whether that is moms. But I have seen both solo and group practices be incredibly effective in marketing to that specific demographic. And it's broad, right? Women struggle with a lot of different types of things, but they're a destination for women. They're a practice for women. And they get it and they know them. And that's enough in their marketing. And that allows all of their team members to do the things that they love, all for women. Another one, a team that specialized, all of their team members were trained and or certified in EMDR. And the nice thing about EMDR and some of the other therapy modalities is now they're becoming more and more mainstream, and people are looking for that. And so they were this entire team dedicated and specialized in this method, and were able to support folks in a variety of areas of their life, anxiety, phobias, trauma, whatever that is, with EMDR. So they all centered around that. That's a pretty clear one, but was very compelling. Another practice I supported, and this might be something if you're like, I have no idea what it is. We kind of crafted the message. It's specialized therapy. So all of their individual clinicians had specialties and felt like they could claim those specialties, and they were a team of specialists. So they all specialized in different things, but the theme there is you are coming here and you are getting expertise. You are getting specialized training. You're sitting down with someone who understands deeply what it is that you're experiencing and going through. So that was a really compelling one. I have 3 more I'll share with you. Another one, support for the whole family. Maybe your team supports people across the lifespan. That's actually a really compelling message, especially because if you do any work with kids or teens, you know that there's also often a lot of parent work done there. So you can have this practice where, hey, we're here to equip and support every single member of your family, regardless of age or regardless of challenge. 2 more. One, BIPOC, or I supported a practice that specialized in Black women specifically, but also just the BIPOC community, the unique challenges that those folks face, getting to sit down with someone who truly understands that. Really, really compelling. And that practice, they're in LA? Southern California somewhere, and have no issue bringing on clients who are looking for that and for that level of understanding and support. And then the last one is sex and relationships, is a really interesting one. If you find that's something that all of you specialize in, maybe you do couples work and there's some Gottman trained folks, and then there are people who like individual work but find that they're usually looking for relationship support. Maybe you have sex therapy, folks that offer sex therapy or are certified in that. All of a sudden, this comes under this really common umbrella of sex and relationships and helping you thrive in that, whether you're an individual, a couple, maybe polyamory is something that, some of your team members specialize in. A really cohesive message again there. So those are some examples there. Let me jump over to the comments and see if anyone... So Mina said, outcome plus approach feels important for my practice. Awesome, Mina. I would love to know kind of what's coming to mind for that. Because like I said, that's often the one of the 4 types of therapy niches that I see be particularly useful for group practices, because usually you as the clinician bring on other people that align with you somehow in your approach to therapy. If we can find a client-friendly way to put words to that, then you're going to be able to kind of again rally around this message and put something out there that feels really compelling to those clients. So awesome. Well, I'm not seeing any other questions, which hopefully means all of your gears are turning right now and you're thinking on this. But please know that if this is something that you need help with, I've actually had 2 group practice owners join Confident Copy just in the last week who are wanting support in this process. A, figuring out what their niche is, and then B, putting it out there in their marketing. I have so much experience with this. Yes, I've supported solo practitioners, but I also recognize the nuances of group practice. And we're here inside of Confident Copy to support you with that. Confident Copy is my 10-week marketing mentorship. You get access to my brain and the amazing brains of the students inside the program, plus my copy coach, to flesh out what it is that your niche is as a practice, and then to bring that to life on your website, to help you write compelling bios and Psych Today profiles for all of your members, all of your team members, and to do it all in a way that is super Google friendly, because I want to see you get found on Google for your niche and for all of your amazing specialties. So if that's something that you're interested in, if you want support and need support in this process, you can learn all about Confident Copy at walkerstrategyco.com/cc, the letter CC. We'll give you all the info on that. But this process is transformational, and if you can figure this out, if you can figure out what this message is, it will unlock all the rest of your marketing, and it will clarify it, and it will most importantly speak more clearly to the people that you want to be bringing in. And that's what I want to see happen for you. So hopefully this has been a helpful exercise for you. If you're coming back and catching the replay, wonderful. You are still free to drop questions there into the comments. I'm happy to come back and revisit anything that you're thinking about. But this is such a key part of your marketing. And hopefully once you get this down on paper, everything else starts to flow a lot more smoothly. So thanks again for being here, friends. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. Mina, I saw you a little question here. Do you recommend separate profiles in PT for each therapist, or one profile for the group practice? Always individual. Every single time. People are on Psych Today looking to connect with a person, not a practice. And individual profiles for your team members means more opportunities for your practice to ultimately be found. But the main reason is that people want to connect with a person, not a practice. So always individual ones that really highlight the specialties of that individual clinician. So good question. That's a good one to end on. I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend, and I'll talk to you soon.